Hey everyone, LEGO lovers and fans. Today we've got something a little out of the ordinary for our channel. We're diving into building the one and only Huggy Wuggy. Now, I know a lot of you probably remember this guy. It feels like just a little while ago, Huggy Wuggy was everywhere, right? You couldn't go anywhere without seeing him. Kids were showing off their fluffy blue toys, and every store seemed to have shelves packed with those big, huggable figures. It was Huggy Wuggy mania. You know what's funny? When I first saw him, I had no clue he was from a video game. Seriously. He looked so fluffy and blue, my first thought was, oh, he must be one of the good guys. Goes to show you that you can't always judge a book by its cover or a monster by its fluffiness. So, this guy officially showed up in 2021. But it seems like even back then, a lot of kids, and maybe even their moms and dads, weren't totally sure about his story. He was just a toy to have. Everyone wanted a Huggy Wuggy of their own, no questions asked. They probably didn't realize he was actually from a video game, and a spooky one at that. That makes me wonder about your first Huggy Wuggy experience. Tell me in the comments, what was the very first time you saw him? Was it a toy in a store? Maybe a picture you saw online? Or did you already know he was from a game? Or maybe you even had a Huggy Wuggy toy. If you did, how old were you when you got it? And how old are you now? And speaking of the game, has anyone here ever played Poppy Playtime? I'd love to hear all about your adventures. Share your Poppy Playtime stories in the comments too. Alright, let's take a closer look at the building blocks we're using today. Now, eagle-eyed builders might have already spotted that this isn't an official LEGO set. Nope, this creation comes from a brand called MOOXI. Does that name sound familiar to anyone? Or maybe you recognize the yellow packet? I've actually built quite a few MOOXI sets before, and I've usually been pretty impressed with them. The plastic they use feels pretty good, and the pieces usually fit together nicely. Sure, they might not be exactly as perfect as real LEGO when it comes to how precise the pieces are or the super high quality of the plastic. But you know what? These MOOXI sets usually cost a lot less money, which is definitely a big bonus. And here's something else I think is really awesome about MOOXI. They don't just copy all of LEGO's ideas, they actually come up with their own cool and unique sets. Even better, they often make figures of characters that you just won't find in the official LEGO world. Look at our blue buddy Huggy Wuggy here. You'd never see an official LEGO Huggy Wuggy set. Okay, so when it comes to building this Huggy Wuggy, it might not be exactly the same super smooth experience as building with real LEGO. The pieces might not snap together quite as perfectly, but they still fit together well, and you shouldn't have any big problems building. If I had to be super picky and find something to mention, it might be the instructions. Sometimes they can be a little bit confusing. However, the design of Huggy Wuggy seems pretty simple and straightforward. So even if something isn't super clear, I found it pretty easy to just think for a second about what piece probably goes next, and I could usually figure it out. And so far, everything has clicked together nicely. Of course, we'll see how this figure looks when it's all done. As for the quality of the plastic, honestly, it's pretty good. You can definitely find some other building block brands that use really cheap plastic, and you can usually feel the difference right away. Now, because I often work with LEGO alternatives and I watch how kids play with these kinds of building toys, I can tell you some things that can go wrong. Imagine you're super excited to build an awesome spaceship with some cool building blocks that aren't exactly LEGOs, but are similar. Now, sometimes these blocks can be a little bit tricky. They might not snap together as easily as you hope, or maybe they get stuck really tight. When that happens, kids often get really frustrated. You might see tears welling up, or even a little tantrum, because it's just not working the way they want it to. They'll call for mom or dad to come help fix the problem. Sometimes, when grown-ups try to help, they might accidentally push too hard, trying to force the pieces together or pull them apart. And oops, sometimes that can even break the cool thing you were building. I've totally been there myself. Even when I'm building with these kinds of blocks, I sometimes pick the wrong piece and push it into the wrong spot. Then, when I try to take it out, it's like it's glued in. I've even had to grab special tools like pliers just to get a stubborn piece out. Of course, after all that wrestling, the piece might be a little bent or damaged, so it has to go in the trash. Luckily, I usually have extra pieces I can use instead, so my spaceship still gets finished and looks amazing in the end. But for kids, all that struggling and needing help and maybe even breaking things, that can really take all the fun out of building. It's like a big pause button on their imagination and excitement, and nobody wants that when they're trying to create something awesome. Okay, you guys have to see this head. Seriously, the design of this Huggy Wuggy is awesome, and I just finished building his head, and it looks so cool. I was a little bit worried at first, you know? It's not super easy to make a fuzzy, woolly monster like Huggy Wuggy using blocky pieces. I thought maybe the head would look a little weird or not quite right, but wow, the people who designed this really knew what they were doing. The special shapes of these blocks have made Huggy Wuggy's head look exactly like it should. Now I'm even more excited to keep building the rest of him. Alright, let's talk about Huggy Wuggy's arms and legs. For each arm and each leg, we use the same 8 pieces that you put together. Think of it like building 4 mini legs or mini arms that are exactly the same. Then, at the very end of each arm and leg, we add 4 more special pieces. You'll see exactly how it all works when we have the whole Huggy Wuggy standing up. But the coolest part is that these arm and leg sections are super bendy and can move around a lot. That's what gives us that classic Huggy Wuggy movement, you know, from the game. You know how he can squeeze into tight spaces, even though he's huge? That's because he's so flexible. Speaking of huge, did you know the real Huggy Wuggy is like super tall? Some people say he's over 3 meters, and others even say 5 meters tall. That's way taller than you or me. He's definitely much bigger than the player in the game. Hey, here's a question for you. When you first heard about Huggy Wuggy, did you already know he was one of the bad guys? Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Okay, back to building our buddy Huggy Wuggy. Now we're working on his hands and feet, and they have a pretty similar design. Check out the hands. They end with these nice, soft, round palms. And for the feet, they're going to be flat on the bottom. This is actually pretty important, because it means we'll be able to stand Huggy Wuggy up once he's all built. No wobbly monster here. Every piece I've used to build Huggy Wuggy has fit together perfectly, just like it should. And even better, the pieces come apart pretty easily. So if you think you might want to build Huggy Wuggy now and then use the blocks later, for your own awesome creations, it won't be a pain at all to take him apart. And if you just want to build Huggy Wuggy to hang out with him, put him on your shelf, or have some fun playtime, then I have to say, this set is really good. The blocks feel solid, they fit together well, and it feels like it's made with care. So let's keep clicking those bricks and watch our spooky huggable friend come to life. We are so close to finishing. Let's get all the pieces laid out so we can put Huggy Wuggy together in his final spooky form. But before we do that, I wanted to tell you about another cool video I made. It's where I built a bunch of the creepy creatures from a different horror game called Zoonomaly. Have you ever heard of it? I think it's a really awesome video, but not a lot of people have seen it yet. So, if you're into cool creature builds, would you mind checking it out? You can find it up there in the top right corner, and in the description to this video. If you like it, hit that like button and leave a comment. It really helps me out and lets me know what kind of videos you enjoy. Let's go give those Zoonomaly monsters some love. Okay, the moment we've been waiting for. Let's put our Huggy Wuggy all together. Because the plastic in this set is really good quality. The spots where the arms and legs connect stay together super well. You know how sometimes with other building blocks, the arms and legs can be all wobbly and floppy, making it hard to even stand the figure up, let alone play with it? Well, not with this set. And yeah, I know I've said it before, but the plastic is just genuinely good. Our Huggy Wuggy can move his arms and legs easily without being all shaky and falling apart. You can make him reach for things, or if you want to put him on display on your shelf, he looks awesome there too. You can even bend his arms and legs to make him stand in cool poses. Plus, the blue color of the plastic is so bright and fun. It really makes him stand out. So, what do I think of this set? I'm giving it a super high score, like a 4.5 out of 5, maybe even a 4.8. This is actually the highest score I've ever given to a building block set that's not LEGO, because the quality is so good, the color is great, and the design of Huggy Wuggy is simple but looks really cool. Now I want to know what you think. What do you think of this Huggy Wuggy set? And if you have a real, soft Huggy Wuggy toy, where is he right now? Are you still playing with him, or has he ended up in the toy box? Let me know in the comments. Alright, I really hope you enjoyed building Huggy Wuggy with me. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my future builds. Leave any comments you want down below, it really helps my channel grow. Now, over on the left, you'll see a playlist of my other cool building videos. And on the right, YouTube has picked out another video they think you'll like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.